everybody, how's it going? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson. And today I got something for all you beginners out there. I'm going to go over some must-know chords. These are like the essential chords that you want to get under your belt like right away, so that way you can start playing songs. These are just some really simple chords that there's just hundreds of songs that you can play if you just know these chords. So be sure to click on the link down below so that way you can get the tabs, the chord charts and stuff for this lesson. Anyway, let's get close up and take a look at the chords that we're going to be going over here. So, very first chord we're going to look at is E minor. Now, there are a couple of ways that we can do this chord. So traditionally it's done like this. So I've got my second finger on the second fret of the fifth string, the A string, and I've got my third finger on the second fret of the fourth string, the D string, and all of the rest of the strings are just open. That's E minor. So it's traditionally done this way because the other chord that we want to do is also an E, and it's E major. So simply all you have to do when you're doing it this way is just take your first finger and place it on the first fret of the third string, the G string, and you have E major. So just by taking that one finger off, you can switch from E major to E minor. Now, an alternative way to do this chord is, instead of using your second and third finger, is to use your first and second finger. So your first finger will be on the second fret of your fifth string, and your second finger will be on the second fret of your fourth string. Now, the reason why this is an alternative way to do it is for transitioning into other chords and stuff, and we'll look a little of that in a minute. All right, so that's two chords. We have E major and E minor. Now we're going to take a look at C major. So for C major, we've got our first finger on the first fret of the second string, your B string, my second finger on the second fret of the fourth string, which is your D string, and my third finger on the third fret of the fifth string, which is the A string. And we strum all the strings except your low E. So, all right. Now, another one we want to look at is A minor. Now, a simple way that we can transition from C major to A minor is we just simply move our third finger from where it is now on the third fret of the fifth string, and we're going to move it up. So now we're on the second fret of the third string, our G string. And that's A minor. So that's a pretty common chord transition, is to go between those two chords. And what's nice is you only have to move a single finger to do it. Okay, so now let's take a look at G major. Now this one, there is a couple of ways that we can do this one as well. So the way that I typically do it is like this. So I've got my second finger on the third fret of the low E, your sixth string, my first finger on the second fret of the fifth string, your B string, or excuse me, your A string, and my third finger on the third fret of the second string, your B string, and my fourth finger on the third fret of the high E, your first string, and then the other strings are just open. So you can play it that way, and an alternative way is to actually play the second string, your B string, open. So you can still use your fourth finger on the high E, or you can use your third finger like this. Now either way is still technically G. The difference here is there's three notes that make up, these chords are what they call a triad, so they have three notes. So the three notes that make up a G major chord are the notes G, B, and D. So if I'm fretting the third fret here on my second string, it's giving me a D. But if I play it open, it's giving me a B. So when we play it this way with just three fingers, we're getting two Bs, two Bs, and we are getting three Gs. G here, and here. When we play it this way, we're getting more D's than we are B's. So since the D is the fifth, if you count up, you've got, G, A, B, C, D is 5. So the more 1s and 5s you have together, it just has a heavier, fuller sound, and this is just the way that I like it. But either way is fine. You will find some songs where you can distinctly hear that they're playing it one way or another, but that's something that you'll kind of, as you get experience, you start making those adjustments. Okay. So, see, what have we got over here? We've gone over G major, E minor, E major, A minor, C major. Now let's take a look at D major. So for D major, we're not playing the low E, your 6th string, or the A string, your 5th string. We're playing neither one of those. We're playing the D string, your 4th string open. We're on the 2nd fret of the G string, your 3rd string, with 1st finger, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, your B string, with your 3rd finger, and the 2nd fret of your high E, your 1st string, with your 2nd finger. So that is your D major. Now, D minor, another fairly common chord. What we're going to do is the note that's on the 2nd string, or excuse me, the 1st string, 2nd fret, is going to move from the 2nd fret to the 1st fret. But the other 2 notes are going to stay the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our 2nd finger where our 1st finger is now. So we're going to move it to the 2nd fret of the G string. And then we're going to take our 1st finger and move it to the 1st fret of the high E, your 1st string, and still just play strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that is your D minor. And then we have A major. This one, there are a couple of different ways that we can play this as well. So traditionally, if you look on like chord charts and stuff, traditionally it's played like this. So what it is that we've got our 5th string, our low A, is open, and then we're fretting the 2nd fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, so your D, G, and B strings. And then the 1st string, your high E, is open. So you can fret all 3 of those by putting your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finger all cramped in there like that, or your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger all cramped in like that. But the way I like to play it is just by barring my 1st finger across the 2nd fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. So if you're a beginner, that might be more difficult for you to do that. So if you have to, you can play this way until you get better at this. So when you play it with one finger, one of the problems that most people have, and I used to have this problem, but over time I eventually got past it. So originally when I played this chord, I had issues. So when you're barring, I'm playing the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and then when I get to the 1st string, my finger, I couldn't clear to be able to get that string open. So that's actually okay, because like I said a minute ago, there's only 3 notes that make up these chords. So the 3 notes that make up an A chord, A major, is you have an A, a C sharp, and an E. So by not playing the 1st string, if it's just muted, that's an E, but you're still getting the E here on your 4th string, so it's still okay. There are every once in a while a song where the 1st string being open is actually a critical part of the song. So if until you can get it open like that, then you can just use your other fingers. But as a general rule, it's just so much easier to transition when you are just using your 1st finger like that. It's just much easier than trying to cram all of your other fingers in there. All right, so we've got E major, E minor, C major, A minor, G major, D major, D minor, and A major. Now, earlier I was talking about how E minor, sometimes you're going to want to play it with your 1st and 2nd finger instead of your 2nd and 3rd. So in this case, it would be like, let's say you were going from E minor to G, which is a really, really common transition you'll see in like lots and lots of songs. If we're playing it this way, when we go to switch to the G, we have to move all of our fingers. But when we use this way, with our first and second finger, our first finger is already where it needs to be for a G. So we have E minor, and then to G, by not having to remove this finger. So anytime you can make a chord transition without having to remove all of your fingers, if you can leave one finger planted, it makes it much easier to make the changes smoothly and to prevent you from like getting into the wrong area. It's not always going to work that way. There's just some chords, you know, if you're going from C to G, which is a common transition too, even though you know, we're close to having our fingers in the, you know, on notes that are in that chord, we're not. So you just have to move all of them like that, and it just takes practice and time to get that down. All right, so there we have it. The basic essential chords that you to get playing your favorite songs. These are, like I said, these are chords that are just used in all different styles of music, all different genres of music, and obviously there are more chords than these, but these are ones that are easy enough that you should be able to play without a whole lot of problem right away. And there, like I said, there are just so many songs, hundreds of songs that you can play with these chords. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, so thanks for watching and have a great day.